Welcome back to ABC General Hospital, SpoiIers channel. Today we will learn about the explosive developments brewing in Port Charles as Tuesday, January 27 brings shocking confrontations, unexpected alliances, and dangerous power plays that could reshape the entire landscape of our beloved show. Jason's desperate search for answers. The aftermath of Friday's dramatic events at Bobby's continues to send shockwaves through Port Charles, with Jason Morgan finding himself consumed by an overwhelming sense of concern for Britt Westbourne. His protective instincts have kicked into overdrive, compelling him to track her down at General Hospital, where the tension between them reaches a boiling point. What Jason witnesses is a side of Britt he's rarely seen a woman push to her absolute breaking point, her composure shattered by forces he cannot yet comprehend. When Jason finally corners Britt in the hospital corridors, her reaction is nothing short of explosive. The vulnerability in her eyes battles with fierce determination as she lashes out at him with words designed to cut deep and push him away permanently. Her ultimatum is crystal clear and devastatingly painful if Jason ever truly cared about her. If any of their shared history means anything to him at all, then he needs to leave her alone and never look back. The raw emotion in her voice betrays the internal struggles she's facing. But Jason cannot possibly understand the true danger lurking behind her desperate plea. What makes this situation particularly complicated is Jason's complete ignorance of the sinister European power broker who has invaded their lives. Ross Cullum, the shadowy and ruthless head of the WSB, has issued a chilling threat to Britt that leaves her with no choice but to sever all ties with Jason. Cullum's warning was unambiguous. Either Britt pushes Jason away permanently, or the WSB will ensure Jason Morgan is eliminated from the equation entirely. For Britt, protecting Jason means sacrificing their connection no matter how much it tears her apart inside. However, Jason's years of navigating dangerous waters and reading between the lines of human behavior have honed his instincts to a razor's edge. He can sense something is fundamentally wrong with Britt's sudden shift in behavior. The way she avoids his eyes, the tremor in her voice when she tells him to leave, the contradiction between her words and her body language, all of it screams that she's being coerced or threatened. Jason knows Britt well enough to understand this isn't simply a case of her moving on or losing interest. Something far more sinister is at play. And it's something that poses a serious threat not just to their friendship, but potentially to Britt's safety. The critical question now is whether Britt can maintain this facade convincingly enough to keep Jason at bay. Can she suppress her true feelings and continue pushing him away when every fiber of her being wants to confide in him and seek his protection? And more importantly, will Jason respect her wishes and walk away? Or will his investigative nature and genuine concern for her well-being drive him to dig deeper until he uncovers the truth about Cullum's threats? Curtis and Jordan's intriguing evening. Across town, Curtis Ashford and Jordan Ashford are enjoying what appears to be a rare moment of peaceful connection over dinner. The atmosphere between them seems lighter than it has been in recent weeks, with Curtis visibly relaxed as he shares his relief about something significant. His comment to Jordan that as it turns out there's no need to bother clearly references a previous discussion they'd had, suggesting that some concern or plan they were considering has become unnecessary. The nature of their conversation remains somewhat mysterious, but the ease between them suggests they're navigating whatever challenges they face as a united front. Whether this relates to their personal lives, family matters, or some external situation remains to be seen. But Curtis's relief is palpable and genuine, adding another layer of intrigue to Jordan's activities. Monday's episode will feature her brokering an important introduction between parties unknown. The question is whether this introduction involves Curtis directly, or if it's tied to Jordan's increasingly complex professional obligations. Given her current employment situation working for the enigmatic Jen Sidwell, this introduction could very well be something she's required to facilitate as part of her duties that may not always align with her personal values or the safety of those she cares about. Jocelyn's frustration with Brennan. Meanwhile, Jocelyn Jax finds herself in an increasingly frustrating position as she attempts to share critical information with WSB Field Office Director Jack Brennan. Their interaction is charged with tension, particularly given that Brennan recently deactivated Jocelyn's involvement in WSB operations and explicitly ordered her to stay away from the mysterious Windermere Castle and its secrets. Brennan's expression reveals his displeasure at seeing Jocelyn again so soon after warning her off. But she's too frustrated and determined to care about his disapproval. With barely contained exasperation, she demands to know whether he actually wants to hear what she's discovered or if he's going to continue shutting her out despite the potentially valuable intelligence she's gathered. Her tone suggests she's tired of being treated like an amateur when she knows she's stumbled onto something significant. The information Jocelyn is so eager to share likely pertains to her recent exploration of Windermere's infamous catacombs, where Marco Rios issued a stern warning to both her and Lucas Jones to stay away from certain areas. Whatever Jocelyn witnessed or uncovered in those underground passages has her convinced that something deeply suspicious is occurring beneath the castle's ancient foundations. The catacombs have always been a source of mystery and danger in Port Charles, and Jocelyn's instincts tell her that the current activity down there is particularly concerning. However, the spoilers also tease that Jocelyn will turn to an unlikely source for additional help or information. While her conversation with Brennan is crucial, she may find herself seeking out someone unexpected for assistance. Could this unlikely ally be Nina Reeves, who lived at Windermere and knows its secrets intimately? Or might it be the formidable Liesl Obrecht, whose time at the castle and vast network of connections could prove invaluable? Both women have insider knowledge of Windermere's hidden spaces and dark history, making them potentially perfect resources for a determined young woman seeking answers. Marco's deadly demand. Speaking of Windermere, Marco Rios is currently at the castle making demands that could have fatal consequences. His rage and grief over the death of his mother Natalia Rogers Ramirez have consumed him completely, twisting his emotions into a dangerous obsession with revenge. As he stands in one of Windermere's ornate rooms, Marco issues a chilling ultimatum to someone whose identity remains tantalizingly unclear. He wants Sonny Corinthos taken out of the equation permanently. Marco's blame of Sonny for Natalia's death stems from their close relationship at the time of her passing. In Marco's grief-stricken mind, Sonny's presence in his mother's life somehow contributed to her demise, and now he's determined to see Sonny pay the ultimate price. The question is, who exactly is Marco making this demand to? The possibilities are both intriguing and alarming. Has Pascal, Sidwell's mysterious associate, returned from France, or was his trip to France merely a cover story? And he's been in Port Charles all along. Pascal's loyalty to Sidwell's organization and his capacity for ruthless action make him a likely candidate for Marco's murderous request. Alternatively, Marco could be appealing directly to Ross Cullum, the WSB head who seems to be pulling strings throughout Port Charles despite his claims of being Sidwell's partner rather than his superior. The power dynamics between Cullum and Sidwell remain murky, but anyone with eyes can see that Cullum calls the shots in their arrangement. Sonny's mysterious proposal to Ava. In another corner of Port Charles, Sonny Corinthos is having an interesting conversation with Ava Jerome that centers around the concept of distraction. With his characteristic blend of charm and strategic thinking, Sonny poses a question to Ava that seems both playful and purposeful. Can she think of any bigger distraction than what he's suggesting? The ambiguity of Sonny's proposal opens up multiple interpretations. On the surface, he could simply be suggesting a fun family-oriented activity where he and Ava spend quality time with their daughter, Avery Corinthos Jerome. Co-parenting moments like these have become increasingly important to both of them as they work to maintain stability in Avery's life. Despite their complicated history, however, given the dangerous chess game currently being played in Port Charles, Sonny's suggestion might have deeper strategic implications. Ava's developing relationship with Jen Sidwell, one that appears to have romantic undertones, puts her in a uniquely positioned role within the criminal underworld's current power structure. Could Sonny be asking Ava to use her connection with Sidwell as a distraction, keeping the crime boss occupied while Sonny works behind the scenes to bring down Sidwell's entire operation? The timing of this conversation is particularly significant given all the moving pieces currently in play. If Sonny is indeed enlisting Ava as an unwitting or willing ally in his plans against Sidwell, it would represent a bold and potentially dangerous gambit that could put Ava directly in harm's way. Carly's surprising dinner companion. Perhaps the most unexpected development of the evening finds Carly sitting across the table from none other than Jen Sidwell himself. Their dinner meeting appears to be intense and purposeful, with both parties engaged in deep conversation that clearly revolves around matters of significant importance. At one point, Carly exclaims, "Bingo!" in response to something Sidwell says, suggesting they've reached some form of agreement or that a piece of information has suddenly clicked into place. The circumstances surrounding this meeting raise fascinating questions. Was this the introduction that Jordan Ashford was brokering earlier? Did Valentin Cassadine, Carly's secret collaborator in the effort to bring down Jack Brennan, suggest or arrange this meeting? Or is this encounter the result of entirely different circumstances that have yet to be revealed? What makes this dinner particularly intriguing is Sidwell's complete ignorance of the alliance between Carly and Valentin. Sidwell had expressed interest in bringing Valentin Cassadine into his organization alongside Cullum, viewing the Cassadine name and resources as valuable assets. He has no idea that Valentin and Carly are actively working together to undermine both Brennan and potentially Sidwell's operations as well. Carly's bingo moment could signify several things. Perhaps Sidwell has unwittingly provided her with information that confirms suspicions about Brennan's activities. Maybe he's revealed something about his organization's structure that Carly and Valentin can exploit. Or possibly, the exclamation